Howdy folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Getting Started with the Age of Sigmar video. As per usual though, if you like this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop me a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, it goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, in this series of videos, if you've already missed it, then what we're basically doing, or I'm basically doing should I say, is I'm picking out what I personally would choose if I were to start a new army in the Warhammer 40,000 scenario. So, if I were picking, I do generally pick based on looks, and I always have a budget in mind. So for this series of videos, I am picking on a budget of £200. Now, I will pick some of these units based on their look and more on what I personally would like to paint over their utility. So these lists are always the best armies that you could choose, but I will pick them. Anyway, the way that I am doing this is I am also picking on the prices, so I am picking from Warhammer.com and an independent retailer. For this series I have chosen Wayland Games as our indie of choice. However, there are many other great independent retailers out there, so you could go to Element Games, Goblin Gaming, Just Play Games and many more that I have not named that do some great pricing. Sometimes they're cheaper than Warhammer.com and some of them do loyalty schemes, so it's worth shopping around to find the best value army for you that you would prefer and go with that. And yeah, some of them really good, or you can mix and match finding the best prices for what you want and what you need. But otherwise, we've got a really good start. So the way this series of video works is we also look at the points for each faction at the end of each section. So however, points can sometimes slightly vary depending on loadouts, so depending on the types of grenades you may choose or the weaponry you may choose can sometimes have a slight alteration to points, so you have to take it with a little bit of pinch of salt. So far in this series though, we have checked out some great factions. This varies from Space Marines to Eldari to Gene Stealers to Votan to the good old Grey Knights to the Adeptus Sororitas and many others. And for this video we are going to check out two more, and we're going to go something slightly different. So firstly, we are going to choose an army that has a wide variety of units, and you can go down many different routes, and that is the Chaos Demons. So if you pick up the Combat Patrol box for these guys, it contains a very Khorne heavy list. So you get a Blood Master, you get 3 of the Blood Crushers, 10 of the Ferocious Flesh Hounds, and finally 10 of the Blood Letters. So they're all fairly lesser demons of Khorne, however they are pretty damn cool, and the other good thing with this is they are very unique to what they can do. So if you want something that's a bit killy and a bit melee based, these guys are for you. But I personally, if I were going to go down the route of Chaos Demons for a 40k army, I would want some variation. So secondly, I would take the followers of Plague God Nurgle, the Plague Bearers. So these are 10 lesser demons crafted from the blighted soul stuff of mortals who have been slain by Nurgle's rot. They look cool, they have a unique look to them, and they gives us a bit more towards a kind of Chaos United kind of faction. Now, carrying on the idea of having a Chaos United faction, I would take some of the hedonistic and rather worryingly nuts followers of Slaanesh, the Chaos God of Debauchery, and to represent this god I'll choose the Demonettes of Slaanesh. They are the generally lesser demons of Slaanesh, however they are pretty cool, they are possessed of hypnotic glamour and generally, clawed hands, because that's apparently a thing. But they look really cool, and obviously it gives you a nice variation of units if you're going down this route, so it's pretty good. Now, the other thing you need to choose is obviously there is another Chaos God we need to look at, and that is Tzeentch. For this I would pick a box of Flamers of Tzeentch. They're very different and very spell heavy, so this gives you a bit of range. and they are very different. They're very weird. They're iconic for Tzeentch as well, so they are very, very cool. And lastly, because some money left over on this one, and for just sheer fun of it, I would actually take a box of Blue Horrors of Tzeentch. They are fun, bonkers, and when a blue horror dies, a pair of the smaller brimstone horrors can take its place, and you get these in the box as well. So that's a little bit of fun. If you want to add a bit more fun to it, you take some nurglings, you take some blue horror, some pink horrors and such like, and you have a bit of fun with each faction. So that is where I would go with it. Obviously you don't have to follow that, but I like having a bit of fun with my units, so why the hell not? Now, in my opinion, this is a fun little army, and it can be very, very different. So you can go in either direction. So you can go down the route of mostly Khorne and have your Slaanesh, Nurgle and Tzeentch units as backup. You can go very spell heavy down the route of Tzeentch. You can go down the route of Slaanesh and many others, entirely up to you. And it's pretty good. So it's a selection of units that will set you back £195 if you're buying it from Warhammer.com. If you're buying it from third party, you're talking around about the £153.60 kind of region, and it's a 975 point army, and it has the added bonus, you can use it in the Age of Sigmar. So if you want just one focused army that can be utilised in 2 different game types, this is for you, because in all honesty, there are no others. So why not? This is pretty good. Now, it's time that we need to move on to our second army, and because we've had demons, why not have the demon hunters in the shape of the Grey Knights? So, it's another Space Marine chapter. They have a more unique look, but they are mostly older minis in all honesty. So, the Combat Patrol box contains a Librarian in Terminator armour, and he's adorned with plenty of scrolls and such like. We get a Nemesis Dread Knight, which is a fairly large walker unit, and I'm not going to lie, I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. We also get 5 Grey Knights Brotherhood Terminators. So these are older sculpts, so they are not the newer Terminators. And then finally, we get 5 of the Strike Squad Marines from the Grey Knights range as well. Also, older minis, in all honesty. So, it's a pretty good unit. It's a pretty good Combat Patrol box, and as I say, the Grey Knights are demon hunters. They are specialists in killing demons, which is why most of them wield swords in a lot of ways. Now, I personally would then have to add in a second HQ unit, and in all honesty, I'll take Castellan Crow, who looks pretty serious and pretty badass, although he is posing with a demon sword, which, is a bit unusual for a demon hunter to be utilising a demonic weapon. But he is fighting with control of it, and he's succeeding so far, so why not? I also then would pick up a unit of the Grey Knights Purifier Squad. The box also makes for Strike Squad, so you've already got some of these units. However, obviously you can make one of 2, so you can utilise them how you want to. They are older models, so these are 2010 minis, so they're a bit dated, but they have that uniqueness that a lot of other Space Marine chapters don't currently have. Lastly though, I would take a box of the Grey Knights Paladins. Their alternate build is the Brotherhood Terminator Squad, so you've already got them, but you can put these guys with a big massive banner. So, because banners were a bit more of a thing in 40k at one point, and these guys utilise them. So, it's a bit more fun, isn't it, really? So why not? Now, this mostly older bunch of minis would actually set you back £197.50 from GW, or around about the £158 mark from a third party retailer, but it has a points value of 1,190, which is pretty decent for old minis, so not bad at all there, in my opinion. It's pretty good, and yeah, it's kind of one of the armies I do kind of weirdly like, although they are older sculpts that look a bit dorky. Now, that is it for this video, so we are 2 more down. I think we only have 4 more factions to look at, so, 2 more videos left. But we've had some really, really good ones, so in all honesty, out of them 2 armies, I would definitely pick the Chaos Demons. They are far more fun to paint. You can get some really, really good looks out of all of them, and it'd be a bit more enjoyable, in all honesty. So, entirely up to you, but that's where my thoughts lay on it anyway. Now, thank you very, very much for watching. I will see you sometime soon for our penultimate episode. Bye bye now.